Aria Montgomery was 25 years old when she discovered her entire life was a lie. Raised in an orphanage until she was 8, then adopted by a middle-class family who could barely pay their bills, Aria had always felt out of place. She was brilliant, graduated medical school with highest honors, became a cardiac surgeon at 24, the youngest in the country. But something had always felt wrong. Until the day Eleanor Sinclair appeared at her hospital. Eleanor, also 25, was the heiress to the Sinclair empire. Billions in real estate, technology, and media. She was there for an emergency cardiac surgery, and Aria was the only available surgeon. During the operation, something extraordinary happened. When Aria touched Eleanor's heart, she had a vision, memories that weren't hers. A luxurious bedroom, a woman crying, a nurse swapping 2 newborn babies in the middle of the night. Impossible, Aria thought. This is just stress. But after saving Eleanor's life, Eleanor woke up and stared at Aria with a strange expression. You have my mother's eyes, Eleanor whispered, still foggy from sedation. Aria dismissed the comment. Until 3 days later, she received an anonymous letter. You are not who you think you are. Eleanor Sinclair stole your life. Your real mother, Victoria Sinclair, searched for you for 25 years before she died 6 months ago. She left evidence in a vault at Sterling Trust Bank, Vault No. 547. The password is Aria Victoria. Discover the truth before it's too late. Aria was skeptical, but curiosity consumed her. She went to the bank. Inside the vault, she found Ronderi tests. DNA tests proving Victoria Sinclair was her biological mother. Photos of Victoria pregnant, standing beside a nurse. Madeline Grant, diaries detailing how Madeline, desperate to give her own daughter Eleanor a better life, switched the babies in the hospital where she worked. Records of every attempt Victoria made to find her real daughter. A will stating, when my true daughter is found, she will inherit 80% of the Sinclair empire. If Eleanor was involved in the deception, she will receive nothing. And finally, a video of Victoria on her deathbed. My beloved daughter, wherever you are, I searched for you every day of my life. Forgive me for not finding you in time. You are the true Sinclair heiress. Take what is rightfully yours. And if you can, forgive Eleanor. She may not know the truth, or she may know everything. Find out. I love you forever. Mama Aria left the bank in shock. Her entire life had been a lie. She was the true billionaire heiress. Eleanor, the woman whose life she had just saved, was living the life that should have been hers. And now, Aria had a choice. Reveal the truth, or pretend she knew nothing. But fate would complicate everything the moment she met Damian Sinclair, Eleanor's half-brother and the CEO of Sinclair Corp., the most dangerous and seductive man Aria had ever encountered, and he was about to become the most complicated piece in her puzzle of revenge. Aria decided not to reveal the truth immediately. She would plan her revenge carefully. After all, she didn't know whether Eleanor was aware of the baby swap or if she was a victim just like her. Step 1. Infiltrate the Sinclair world. Using her prestige as a surgeon, Aria managed to get hired as the Sinclair family's private physician. Under the pretense of monitoring Eleanor's recovery, she moved into the Sinclair mansion. That was where she met Damian Sinclair. Damian, 30, was the son of Robert Sinclair's first marriage, CEO of Sinclair Corp. Ruthless in business, cold, calculated, absurdly handsome, black hair, piercing gray eyes, a model's body, and completely obsessed with control. On Aria's first night in the mansion, she found him in the library at 2 a.m. You must be the new doctor, he said without looking away from his whiskey. Aria Montgomery, 25, prodigy surgeon, orphan. Interesting resume. You investigated my life. Aria tried to sound offended, but she was impressed and slightly unnerved. I investigate everyone who steps into this house. Damian finally looked at her. His eyes traveled over her slowly, especially when they're intriguing. There was something in the way he looked at her, as if he could see straight through her soul. I'm just a doctor, Mr. Sinclair. Damian, he corrected, stepping closer. And you're not just anything, Dr. Montgomery. There's something different about you. I'll find out what it is. Over the next few days, Aria noticed something disturbing. She was attracted to Damian, intensely. And worse, he was clearly attracted to her too. That complicated everything. How could she execute her revenge if she was falling for the half-brother? But then Aria discovered something that changed everything. One night, while searching Eleanor's office for proof that she knew about the baby swap, Aria found a hidden notebook, not Eleanor's. Madeline Grant's, the nurse who swapped the babies. The last entries were from 6 months ago. Eleanor discovered the truth 3 years ago. She knows she is not the real Sinclair heiress, but instead of doing the right thing, she paid me $5 million to stay quiet. She hired private investigators to find the real heiress Aria before Victoria did. When they learned Aria was a surgeon at St. Mary's Hospital, Eleanor began to plan. The diary ended abruptly. Madeline died in a car accident 1 week later. Eleanor knew. Eleanor always knew, and she killed Madeline to protect the secret. Rage burned through Aria's veins, but she needed more proof, concrete evidence that Eleanor was behind Madeline's murder. That was when Damian appeared in the doorway. Looking for something? His voice was dangerously low. Aria hid the diary behind her back. I was just— Damian stepped forward, pinning her against the bookshelf. Don't lie to me, Aria. I hate lies. Their faces were inches apart. Aria's heart was racing. What if I said I'm here for revenge? She whispered, testing him. That Eleanor stole something from me? Damian's eyes gleamed. Then I'd say you are far more fascinating than I thought. He brushed a thumb across her cheek. Whatever your plan is, I want in. Why? Her voice trembled. Eleanor is your sister, half-sister. His tone hardened. And between you and me, I've always known something was wrong with Eleanor. Something fake. He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear. You, on the other hand, you have fire, truth. You remind me of someone. Who? My stepmother, Victoria. The only person in this family who ever mattered. Aria's heart stopped. He's talking about my mother. Before she could process it, Damian kissed her. Intense, hungry, desperate. Aria knew she should resist. This would make everything infinitely more complicated. But she couldn't. Not when every cell in her body was burning for him. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathless. This was a mistake, Aria whispered. Probably, Damian agreed. Shall we make the same mistake again? She should have said no. Instead, she pulled him back to her. That night, they became allies and lovers. Damian confessed he had always suspected Eleanor that she was too cold, too calculated. He had been running private investigations on her for years. Aria revealed everything: who she was, the truth of her birth, the evidence she'd found. Damian was shocked but not surprised. I knew it, he said. The moment I saw you, I knew. You have her eyes, her smile. Victoria would be proud of the woman you've become. Together they created a plan. Expose Eleanor, prove she murdered Madeline. Reclaim Aria's inheritance. Destroy Eleanor's power completely. But they didn't know something crucial. Eleanor already suspected them, and she had a plan of her own, a far more deadly one. Eleanor wasn't stupid. She noticed the chemistry between Damian and Aria immediately. And when her security team reported that Aria had visited Sterling Trust Bank where Victoria's vault was, Eleanor realized the threat was real. The real heiress found out. I need to eliminate her before she reveals everything. Eleanor summoned Aria for a private medical consultation on the rooftop of Sinclair Corp., a 60-story skyscraper. She claimed she wanted to discuss her recovery away from curious eyes. Aria was suspicious, but she went. She had her phone recording, hoping Eleanor would confess something incriminating. When she arrived at the rooftop helipad, Eleanor stood alone, staring at the city skyline. Beautiful view, isn't it? Eleanor said without turning around. Eleanor, why did you call me here? Eleanor finally turned. Her face was different, no more fake sweetness, just pure calculated coldness. Because I know who you are, Aria. Or should I say, Aria Sinclair? Aria kept her composure. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't be stupid, Eleanor laughed cruelly. I've always known about the baby swap. My mother told me when I was 16. She was drowning in guilt, pathetic really. I forgave her, of course. After all, she gave me the life I deserved. You don't deserve anything, Aria snapped, anger leaking through. You stole my life. My family. My mother died searching for me. Victoria was weak, Eleanor spat. Always crying over her lost daughter. I was a better daughter to her than you ever would have been. You killed Madeline, Eleanor smiled. Prove it, I will. And when I do, you'll lose everything. No, Eleanor said calmly. Because you're not leaving this rooftop alive. She gestured, and 2 security guards stepped out of the shadows. They grabbed Aria. Eleanor, don't. Aria struggled. It will look like suicide, Eleanor explained casually. The brilliant young doctor, overwhelmed by stress, jumps from the roof, so tragic. I'll even cry at your funeral. The guards dragged Aria toward the edge. The wind whipped violently. The fall was fatal. Aria looked down. 60 stories, no chance of survival. Any last words? Eleanor asked. Yes, Aria said, surprisingly calm. You should have checked whether I came alone. Eleanor frowned. Then she heard it. Let her go, now. Damian burst through the rooftop door, followed by police officers and security cameras recording everything. Eleanor's face drained of color. Damian, brother! This is a misunderstanding! Misunderstanding? Damian stepped forward, rage burning in his eyes. We recorded every word, Eleanor. Attempted murder. Confession to killing Madeline Grant. Fraud. You're finished. The guards dropped Aria and tried to run, but officers tackled them immediately. Realizing she was cornered, Eleanor did something unexpected. She bolted for the edge. If I can't have the Sinclair life, no one can, she screamed, and she jumped. No! Aria rushed to the edge, But Eleanor didn't fall to her death. A safety net, part of the building's emergency system, caught her 3 floors down. She lay there, trapped, furious. Even in your downfall you failed, Damian muttered. Eleanor was rescued, arrested, and publicly exposed. The evidence was overwhelming. Recordings, documents, witnesses. She would serve decades in prison. Robert Sinclair was a 65-year-old man, powerful, ruthless. He had built the Sinclair empire from the ground up. He had survived scandals, betrayals, losses. But now he looked defeated. The meeting took place in the mansion's private conference room. Present Aria, Damian, and a team of lawyers. There's something you both need to know, Robert began, his voice heavy. Something Victoria made me swear never to reveal. But now that Eleanor has been exposed and Aria is here, you deserve the whole truth. A chill ran down Aria's spine. The baby swap wasn't accidental, Robert continued. And it wasn't just Madeline's idea. What are you talking about? Damian demanded. Robert took a deep, shuddering breath. I knew. I always knew about the swap. Silence fell like a bomb. You? What? Aria whispered, horror rising inside her. Robert stood and walked toward the window. Let me start from the beginning. When Victoria became pregnant with you, Aria, our marriage was already destroyed. We married for convenience, not love. I had Damian from my first marriage, and frankly, I didn't want more children. Father, Damian tried, but Robert continued. Victoria was ecstatic about the pregnancy, but I saw that baby as a burden. One more obligation, one more person needing something from me. He stared blankly at the floor. I was having an affair at the time, planning to divorce Victoria after the baby was born. Aria felt nausea twist her stomach. Madeline Grant was my mistress, Robert confessed. She was also pregnant with Eleanor, my biological daughter. Damian paled. When both babies were born in the same hospital on the same night, Madeline came to me with a proposal. Swap the babies. Aria froze. She would raise my legitimate daughter with Victoria. You, Aria, giving me my freedom. And I would raise her daughter Eleanor as the Sinclair heiress, giving Eleanor a life of luxury. You are a monster, Aria shouted, standing up. Robert didn't argue. I agreed, he said quietly. It felt like the perfect solution. I'd be free of Victoria. Madeline would give Eleanor a better life, and Victoria would raise a child never knowing the truth. Aria was shaking with rage. But then, Victoria found out. Damian's eyes widened. 2 months after the swap, Robert said. She had a secret DNA test done because something felt wrong. When the result came back negative, she confronted me. He turned around, tears in his eyes for the first time in Aria's life. Victoria told me she would go to the police. I would lose everything. My company, my reputation, my freedom. He swallowed hard. But then, she surprised me. She offered me a deal. What deal? Damian asked, voice rough. Robert closed his eyes. She said, give me back my daughter and I'll act like nothing happened, or keep Eleanor and I will dedicate my life to destroying you. He looked at Aria. I chose poorly. You chose to keep the lie, Aria said, trembling with disgust. You condemned her to 25 years of suffering while she searched for me. You condemned me to grow up an orphan when I had a billionaire family. I know, Robert whispered. And every day since has been my personal hell. He exhaled shakily. Victoria never forgave me. She stayed with me only to keep searching for you. When she became ill, she made me swear one thing. When you were found, I would confess everything. He pulled out a sealed envelope. She wanted you to know you were never abandoned. You were stolen. Aria's hands trembled as she opened the letter. My dear Aria, if you are reading this, it means you found the truth. It means Robert finally had the courage to confess, or you uncovered it yourself. You were not abandoned. You were stolen from me. And every second since that day, I searched for you. Every tear I shed was for you. Every breath I took was in the hope of seeing you again. Now you know Robert is just as guilty as Madeline, and you have a choice. Expose him and destroy the Sinclair empire completely, or forgive and move forward. My advice? Choose peace, not vengeance. Vengeance consumed me. Do not let it consume you. Whatever you choose, know this. I am proud of you. My brilliant, strong, compassionate daughter. Live the life that was stolen from me. Be happy. With all my eternal love, Mom. Aria folded the letter, tears dripping onto the paper. The room was silent until Damian spoke. I will never forgive you for this, Father. Never. I know, Robert said softly. And I don't expect forgiveness. But Aria, the decision is yours. You can prosecute me, expose me, destroy everything I built. Or what? Aria asked coldly. Robert hesitated. Or you can let me spend my final months trying to make things right. Final months? Aria repeated. Robert nodded. I have stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months left. Maybe less. Aria's breath caught. I'm not asking for forgiveness, he said. I'm asking for the chance to know the daughter Victoria loved so fiercely before I die. Aria looked at the man who stole her from her mother. who destroyed so many lives out of selfishness. She should hate him, she should destroy him, but then she remembered Victoria's words. Choose peace, not vengeance. Aria exhaled. 6 months, she said. You have 6 months to prove you're anything resembling human. If you fail, I expose everything. If you succeed, maybe I'll let you die in peace. That's more than I deserve, Robert whispered. But Aria wasn't done. You will sign over 50% of your personal Sinclair Corp shares to charity, in Victoria's name, orphanages, hospitals, schools. You will spend your last half year doing good with the wealth you built on lies. Robert nodded instantly. Done. Damian squeezed Aria's hand. Are you sure? No, she admitted softly, but vengeance won't bring back my mother, so I'll try something else. I'll try forgiveness, but forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. And Aria still had one last ghost to confront. Eleanor. Because in prison Eleanor had uncovered one final secret, a secret that would change everything yet again. 3 months later, Aria visited Eleanor in prison. She wasn't sure why she was there. Part of her wanted one last confrontation. Part of her needed closure. Eleanor looked different. No luxury makeup, no designer clothes, no arrogance. She looked human. Broken. Did you come here to gloat? Eleanor asked when they sat down across from each other, separated by glass. No, Aria said honestly. I came because Victoria would have come. She would have wanted to understand. Eleanor let out a bitter laugh. Victoria. The saint. The martyr. Everyone loved her. Did you know her? For 16 years I called her mom, Eleanor said, her voice cracking. And she was kind to me, Aria. Even knowing I wasn't her biological daughter, even after discovering the truth. She never treated me differently. Tears began to run down Eleanor's face. And I betrayed her. I knew she was looking for you, and I actively sabotaged it. I paid investigators to give her false leads. I am a monster. Why? Aria asked, genuinely curious. Why do that if Victoria loved you? Eleanor swallowed hard. Because I was afraid, she admitted. Afraid that when you were found, I would lose everything. Her love, the empire, my identity. I wasn't the lucky orphan anymore. I was the daughter of the mistress who stole someone else's life. I had no identity of my own without the lie. She lifted her red, swollen eyes to Aria. Do you want to know something ironic? Victoria left me a letter too. They found it among my things when I was arrested. She wrote it before she died. Eleanor pulled out a crumpled letter. The guards had allowed her to bring it. She slid it through the opening for Aria. Aria read, Dear Eleanor, you are not my daughter by blood, but you were my daughter in my heart for 25 years and I loved you, even knowing the truth. I hope that when Aria is found you will do the right thing, that you welcome her as a sister, not an enemy, that you understand there is enough love in this world for both of you, but if you choose fear instead of love, know that I still forgive you, because I understand that being caught in a lie you didn't create can make you do terrible things. I forgive Madeline, I forgive Robert, and I forgive you no matter what you do. Forgiveness does not mean what you did is right. It means I choose peace over pain. Be happy, Eleanor, and let Aria be happy too. With love, Victoria. Aria finished reading, tears in her eyes. She looked at Eleanor. She forgave you before you even did anything wrong. Eleanor broke completely. I know, she sobbed, and I threw it away. I tried to kill you. I killed Madeline. I ruined everything. Madeline, Aria said softly. Did you really kill her? Eleanor paused, then shook her head. No, the accident was real. I wanted to kill her. I even paid someone to make it look like an accident. But before they could do anything, she actually died in a genuine accident. Faulty brakes. Pure coincidence. She let out a humorless laugh. I was accused of a murder I didn't commit. Ironic, isn't it? So you're guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, not actual murder, Aria said. What's the difference? I wanted her dead. I deserve to be here. Silence. Then Aria said something even she didn't expect. Victoria forgave you, and if she could forgive you, I can try. Eleanor looked up, shocked. What? I'm not saying I forgive you completely right now, Aria clarified, but I'm saying I'll work on it, because carrying hatred is killing me. And my mother wouldn't have wanted that. Our mother, Eleanor corrected softly. She was a mother to both of us, in different ways, but she was. Aria nodded, realizing it was true. Our mother. I'll spend decades in here, Eleanor said quietly. But when I get out, if you still feel this way, can we be sisters? For real? Aria smiled gently. Just a small curve of her lips. Ask me in 10 years, we'll see where we are then. Eleanor smiled for the first time, a genuine smile. That's more than I deserve. When Aria stepped out of the prison, she felt lighter, as if a weight had finally been lifted off her shoulders. Damian was waiting outside. How did it go? Surprisingly, therapeutic, Aria admitted. I think I'm ready to move on, for real this time. Robert Sinclair died peacefully in his sleep. surrounded by Aria, Damian, and a small group of loyal employees he had helped throughout his life. His final 6 months were spent donating billions, visiting orphanages, establishing foundations. He could never undo what he had done, but he tried. His last words to Aria were, "Victoria was right about you. You're extraordinary, and I wasted the chance to know you. Don't waste your chances to be happy." At the funeral, Aria didn't cry, but she didn't feel satisfaction either, only closure. 1 year later, the Sinclair mansion had been transformed. Aria had converted part of it into a medical foundation offering free surgeries for children in need, her way of honoring both her talent and Victoria's memory. Damian had stepped down as CEO of Sinclair Corp, handing leadership to competent managers so he could focus on charity work with Aria. They worked together during the day and came home together at night. It was simple, it was peaceful, it was happy. One night, Damian led her to the garden, the very one where Victoria used to plant roses. "Remember when you asked me where I fit in your life?" he asked. "I remember." He knelt down, pulling a small box from his pocket. "Well, I've decided where I want to fit. I want to fit beside you, forever. Aria Sinclair, will you marry me?" The ring was simple but breathtaking, an emerald surrounded by diamonds. Victoria's birthstone. Aria didn't hesitate. Yes, 1,000 times yes. When they kissed, Aria swore she felt a gentle breeze as if Victoria were there, smiling, finally at peace knowing her daughter had found happiness. Epilogue. 5 years later. Aria was at the hospital, preparing for a complex heart surgery on a 7-year-old girl. The child, Sophia, was an orphan, just as Aria once had been. Before the surgery, Sophia held Aria's hand. "Dr. Sinclair, are you going to save me?" Aria smiled, remembering all the times she wished someone would save her as a child. "I promise I'll try with everything I have. My teacher said you were adopted when you were little. Is that true?" "Yes, it is, and now you're rich and famous and save people like me." "That's right." Sophia's eyes lit up. "Then maybe I can be like you when I grow up." Aria knelt beside her. "You can be better than me, Sophia. And do you know why?" "Why?" "Because someone once told me that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is where you're going. And you, my dear, are going somewhere incredible." After saving Sophia, the surgery a complete success, Aria went home. Damian was there with their 3-year-old twins, Victoria and Robert, named in honor of the grandparents they'd never meet, symbolizing both love and forgiveness. "How was your day?" Damian asked, hugging her. "I saved a life. Made a little girl believe in miracles. It was perfect." Aria smiled. "And yours?" "We finished building the new orphanage in Victoria's name. It opens next month. 200 children will have a home," he said proudly. "Victoria would have loved that." "She is loving it," Damian corrected. "Wherever she is." That night, after the kids were asleep, Aria and Damian sat in the rose garden. "Do you have any regrets?" he asked. "About everything that happened?" Aria thought of the baby swap, the years in the orphanage, the revenge, the forgiveness, the impossible journey that brought her here. "No," she said finally, "because everything brought me to this moment, to you, to our family, to this life. Even the suffering, especially the suffering," Aria said, "because it taught me that love is stronger than hate, that forgiveness is more powerful than revenge, and that sometimes, the families we build are more important than the ones we're born into." Damian kissed her forehead. "Victoria chose the perfect name for you, Aria. It means air or melody. And you are both, essential like air, beautiful like a melody." Aria touched his face gently. "And you are my home, the home I spent my whole life searching for without knowing it." That night, under the stars, surrounded by Victoria's roses, Aria Sinclair finally understood. She wasn't defined by the family she lost, or the vengeance she sought, or the identity that was stolen from her. She was defined by the choice she made, the choice to forgive, to love, to move forward, and that choice made all the difference.